Leave. The Indiana Hoosiers have won the national championship on a late pick by Carson Beck. It is one of the first in school history. Kurt Cinetti leads the program to the chip. In big NBA news, Jimmy Butler has torn his ACL in the third quarter of last night's win for the Golden State Warriors. He'll be out for the rest of the season. And we got Laker basketball tonight back on San Diego Sports 760. That'll get going at 7 o'clock. Lakers are currently 2.5-point favorites in Denver in that one. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day with just one pill. Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
The NFL Final Four is set.
Kick on the way. And Denver's going to the AFC Championship game. Lutz from 24 yards out.
The Patriots win it over the Texans 28-16. Reach the AFC Championship game. It's good! The Rams win it 20-17 in overtime.
Sorry, Fletch.
49ers' improbable run of an impossible dream comes to an end tonight here at Lumen Field in the NFC Divisional Round.
We take the first look at Championship Sunday, the college football playoff title game.
And the rags to riches story for Indiana football comes to conclusion, and they are the national champions of 2026.
And the Aztecs stayed perfect in Mountain West play.
Kicks corner to Gorville. His three is good. Taj knocks down the three. 6 quick ones for the Aztecs who are tied up.
Is it too early to speak about the madness? Plus,
Josh Allen, more than 36.5 rush yards against that Denver defense.
What the heck just happened?
Kenneth Walker, less than 58.5 rush yards against the Niners.
Shouldn't somebody get him to stop?
Dalton Schultz, more than 4.5 receptions for the Houston Texans. Kyron Williams, more than 61.5 rush yards.
Looks like I ain't shooting with blanks no more.
Malachi Toney, wide receiver for Miami, more than 76.5 rush and receiving yards.
I've seen it.
let's kick off the week from the San Diego Sports 760 studios inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer will take over then. And yes, big voice guy, it was a rough weekend. Thank you for pointing it out. We'll get into it all here. NFL over the weekend was great. If for some people, college football.
I had a great time watching the NFL this weekend.
College football national championship was great for everybody except for the dude who spent $30,000 on a last minute bet on Miami. And Sammy Long, who I think was also betting on Miami. And the Aztecs basketball game on Saturday night was fantastic as well. We're going to cover it all here over the next couple of hours. If you would like to chime in on the conversation, the best possible way to do it is to open up the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, add us to your presets,
Talkback,
and use that talkback mic, which is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen when you're listening to the station. You could leave us up to 30 seconds. It goes right to Sammy's computer. We can play it back on the show today, and you can jump in on the fun that is San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, I have one question and one question only. You ready to have a great show?
I've been very excited for this show.
Are you ready to have a great show?
I don't know if you are ready for this show.
No, I'll be honest. I was actually not thrilled with the fact that we had yesterday off going back to last week. I was like, it's the day after the NFC, AFC divisional round. Like, we need to be working. And it's one of those rare days where you hear you have the day off and you're like, no, I want to be working. And then yesterday came, and I was very happy to have the day off, Sammy, because I think yesterday was still a little too raw. The absolute ass-kicking, the torching that the San Francisco 49ers got over the weekend by the Seattle Seahawks. The 41-6 devouring that Mike McDonald and the Seattle defensive line did to the San Francisco 49ers. But today I'm feeling better about it. I really am. I mean, I'm not happy with how it worked out. I'm not happy that it's the Rams and the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. I'm not happy about how any of this played out over the weekend. I'm not happy that Josh Allen got knocked out. And we have Bo Nix, who has a broken ankle now, playing against the Patriots, who are kind of underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not happy about how any of the NFL games went this weekend. I'm not going to say I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to say I'm not excited for what's to come in the NFL.
I'm just going to say I won't be taking apologies
for
everyone who said Sammy's a homer, Sammy's a Josh Allen hater, Sammy's this, Sammy's that. I won't be doing it. I won't be taking apologies. we have the annual tradition in January. There's an annual tradition around Christmas where everyone picks Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. And then there's the annual tradition in January where Josh Allen goes to the press conference and has to explain why next year really is the year. And this year it reached a breaking point. I mean, it was at a time when literally him and Deion Dawkins were in tears at the presser because they fell short once again. And this time they don't have the excuse of that it was Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It was Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So I had an exceptional weekend. Again, I won't be taking apologies for all the Josh Allen smear campaign that people have said that I have tried to do. I just speak facts when January comes around. So again, I won't be accepting apologies from Bills fans.
Well, here's the worst part of my day. Here's the part of the day where I have to say Sammy was right. And Josh Allen looked awful in that game. He was holding the football like he was a 5-year-old with a lollipop, and that football then got dog hair all over it because you know that the 5-year-old's going to drop that lollipop. It was pretty inexcusable the way Josh Allen played, and he almost seemed flippant and nervous, like he didn't really care while he was in the game about what was going on. And then post game we get the tears. I will say, and I'm not saying that the Buffalo Bills should have won that game. I promise you I'm not. I do have some serious questions about what the hell's a catch again in the NFL because, man, oh, man, it looked like the shin was down to me. It looked like the shin was on the ground to me. And then what? Right afterwards, we see the Rams game where the same play happens.
Is it that first off, that's my other favorite annual tradition where it can't be.
Look, here, let me get this out of the way first. Josh Allen was outplayed by Bo Nix. Josh Allen deserved to lose that football game, but I am saying, have we lost all semblance of reality when one thing happens in one game and then 2 games later, the same thing happens again. They get called completely different ways. And now the Rams are in the NFC Championship. The Broncos are in the AFC Championship because of those 2 plays.
Well, let's look at those 2 plays.
That were identical.
They were not identical.
Almost identical.
The play with Denver and Buffalo, McMillan had his hand under the ball.
If you don't know what we're talking about interception gate, which stormed the internet this weekend.
So the McMillan play, he didn't have full control, and McMillan had his hand under the ball, and they both had their hands on it, and he came away with it. The Davante Adams play, Davante Adams' knee is down, and then the Chicago Bears ripped the ball out. Those are 2 very different things in my estimation. The McMillan one,
they're separated by maybe a fraction of a second. That's how much difference there was in those 2 plays.
I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. If I'm a Bills fan, I do think the PI calls at the end of the game, the final drive with Bo Nix was a little fortunate.
It just sucks to see the season end that way. I think they were both pass interferences, but I think in those situations, at least the first one doesn't usually get called.
The first one I think was more agreed. The second one, Tre'Davious White PI'd him. Like that was a pass interference. He would have caught the touchdown and walked in if he hadn't. The first one was a great play by Bo Nix. I got to give him a lot of credit. He recognized that the crowd went nuts because they didn't call the pass interference the play before, so he threw it right back to the same spot in a jump ball contest and knew that the refs were definitely going to be flag happy. But again, we have come to our other favorite annual tradition in January of somehow the Bills can't just lose, but they got screwed out of it some way or the other.
They played terrible. They lost. I'm just not positive Denver deserved to win. Denver's defense deserved to win. I looked our Broncos fan on the text line who hates us, I think, but also listens to us. We love you. And I will say right now, Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen. I
got to give Bo Nix a lot of love because
he was tremendous.
I have not given Bo Nix a lot of credit all year. I've always kind of thought it was the rest of the team, but he was excellent in that game. He had 3 touchdown passes. Should have had 4 if the one by Lil Jordan Humphrey on the first drive of the game he catches. That was a dime. I thought Bo Nix was fantastic in that game. It was just more composed, and especially for a guy in his second quarterback start in a postseason was phenomenal.
Kind of crazy how this has all worked out, but the Houston Texans played, even though the Niners played awful, the Houston Texans may have played the worst game of the postseason so far. That
was horrible.
We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. We are going to get to the big 3 right now. Plenty more reaction to come from the divisional round. Plenty to look forward to in the championship round coming up this weekend. Plus that Aztecs game on Saturday night. I want to hear reviews on how Sammy did on pregame and halftime from our text line or from YouTube. You can text us 70470, start your message with team. And of course, the national championship game, which happened last night. We will get into it all here over the next couple of hours. We also have 2 giveaways on the show today that we will tell you about in just a little bit. They're good ones. Sammy's excited about the concert. I promise you that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Sammy is excited about this concert that we're giving tickets away to. But let's get to the big 3 here. Go ahead. Smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, Shammy, where do you want to go?
Let's start with that Natty. That Natty game was fantastic last night. I thought both teams really played exceptional in that game. Curt Cignetti said after the game, though, that Indiana winning, statistically, literally the losingest program, Division I program in college football history, winning is a, quote, paradigm shift for the sport. Do you agree with that in that regard? And how influential do you think a school like Indiana winning is for college football in the future? Or do you think this is a kind of one-off fantastic year by them?
No, I don't think it's a one-off at all. I think what Indiana did this year proved something to the world of college sports, not just football. A school can be labeled as one thing for generations, for decades, and it doesn't have to stay in that same label. Indiana's been a basketball school our entire lives. Indiana's been a basketball school since Gene Hackman played a head coach in a movie one time called Hoosiers. Indiana has been labeled that way forever. But all it takes, and it can move quick in college sports right now, you need a great head coach. Curt Cignetti is the best head coach in college football as of right now. And you need a great quarterback. And say what you will about Fernando Mendoza, he's a goofy guy. Every time I hear him talk, I kind of want to punch him. He's a great quarterback. And he's going to be great for the Las Vegas Raiders. Dude, he's got a punchable face, and the way he talks is kind of annoying.
Can you imagine him and Max Crosby communicating?
No, honestly, am kind of fearful about how he handles the locker room at the NFL level, because I think a lot of people are going to want to punch him in the face. But Fernando Mendoza had a couple of moments in last night's game where he didn't play a great game. I don't think you could say he played a great game. He had a couple of amazing, all-time great moments in that game. And when you can see a young guy step up and say, hey, you know what? I don't care who tries to tackle me right now. I'm getting into the end zone, and then actually go do it. It was incredibly impressive. So the paradigm shift isn't necessarily that Indiana's this incredible story. The paradigm shift is the fact that you can turn something around so quickly in college right now. No matter what school you're at, get some NIL money, go get a great head coach, and you got a shot.
Well, the paradigm shift, I completely agree. All these players followed him from James Madison a couple of years ago. They got a bunch of cast-offs that guys really didn't want. They only had 8 blue-chip recruits. So, like, your 4- and 5-star guys. They didn't have a lot of these big-time, players that Ohio State gets and Texas gets and schools like that. So, yes, if you are, heard Colin Cowherd talking about it earlier, if you're Purdue, if you're Michigan State, if you're Rutgers, if you're one of these schools that was always kind of, you don't have a shot. Like, realistically, you just, like, we can say the quiet part out loud. They never really had a shot. You do. If you get the right coach in place. With the transfer portal, it's basically free agency now. So if you have a booster that can get you big time money, you can go out and be something. So that in regards to that, it's a complete paradigm shift in college football. I don't think we've ever had as much parity as we're going to have next year. You can make a case. They did like a way too early top 25. There's like 15 to 20 teams you can make a case could win the Natty, and I think people wouldn't call you crazy versus a couple years ago. That simply wasn't the case. It was Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia. In regards to last night, all kudos to Indiana because they were unbelievable. The Mendoza call, as you pointed out, the 4th and 5, he was fantastic in that game. It is a shame, though, like if you're Miami, they outscored Indiana. If you take away the blocked punt, they actually outscored the best offense in the country. It's a shame that Beck threw the interception at the end of the game. Mark Fletcher was fantastic. The missed field goal right before half. There was a lot of kind of small nuances in that game that could have went a different way. It is a shame that kind of not a shame. It's cool in the sense that you see in two teams that certainly were the 2 best teams in college football. It came down to the margins, and the margins were special teams, and Indiana won that. So kudos to them. But I thought Miami played fantastic, and the U is definitely back for the future. Okay, let's get to who had the worst weekend: Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, or C.J. Stroud.
I mean, all right, well, statistically, it's going to be C.J. Stroud. My God, what are we doing in Houston? Like, they could have won that game so easily if C.J. Stroud just didn't give the ball away like candy. Brock Purdy played terrible, but everyone on the Niners played terrible. Josh Allen has the historically worst weekend. Josh Allen, in a game where I wasn't sure that the Bills, with Josh Allen playing great, could have won that game, Josh Allen played terrible. And they could have / should have won that game against the Denver Broncos. Like, Denver's defense is amazing, man. You won't hear me talk any smack about that. But the fact that the Buffalo Bills should have won that game and had multiple opportunities in the fourth quarter and overtime to take the lead and win that game, and they couldn't do it, is such a detriment to Josh Allen. 5 turnovers in the game, man. You can't do that when we talk about you in the same ranks as Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. You can't do that when we are putting you up against some of the all-time greats in the NFL. Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud aren't there yet. Josh Allen is. And the fact that he played as bad as he did when it was wide open for him to go take it and get to the AFC Championship and probably get to the Super Bowl, that's one that's going to stick with him his entire career.
I'm going to let your boy Purdy somewhat off the hook because I think you were the only
wide receivers were running into each other all night long.
Well, that, and I think you were the only person in America who actually thought the Niners had a chance to win a Super Bowl. So there were expectations about that Niner team. I still hold my belief. I thought Brock Purdy was good against Philly. I don't think he elevates the team at a level where he is the primary catalyst for a Super Bowl winning team.
He's got a bit of a Seattle problem currently.
And that's a shame.
Look at him against everyone else. It's pretty damn good.
They're not going anywhere.
I know. It makes me very nervous.
So, but the amount of injuries there, the answer is Josh Allen in terms of he played, quote, the best statistically of any of these quarterbacks. But to what you just said, we hold him in the regard of he's one of the elite passers in the NFL. And we know he had all the pressure on him coming into the postseason to win. No Lamar, no Burrow, no Mahomes. And he didn't get it done. We talked about that a little bit earlier. CJ Stroud, though, that was an awful game.
Putrid.
Now, I'll give him that Collins wasn't there. Woody Marks went out in the game, and Schultz went out in the game. But it was to the point where he looked scared. Like he didn't know what he was doing.
In both playoff games. Remember the first game, he kept dropping the football.
Right, he didn't play well in that game. It was the 2 defensive touchdowns from Houston that led to the big blowout, 30-6. I would love to. We'll never know this answer to know how close they were to putting their backup in Davis Mills,
who played really good for them this year.
Because the crazy thing was the Patriots weren't putting them away. The game was still in doubt for a lot of it, and it was just so bad offensively. It was terrible.
Answer me this, Sammy, before we get to break. Does either AFC team have any shot against either the Rams or the Seahawks?
Denver, no, because they don't have Knicks.
My answer is no both ways. I actually think Denver can still beat New England.
I agree with you. I think the defense, it's in Denver. By the way, Stidham was a 4-year starter at Auburn. He was not a terrible player. Like, he's actually a guy who's played a lot.
And he knows Josh McDaniels' system. He was in it.
New England, maybe. But I certainly think if you're power ranking the top 4 teams, it's Rams and Seattle.
Yeah.
And then there's a drop-off. And
like
then
the NFC Championship game is the Super Bowl.
Right. Totally.
Which is not a great place to be.
We have seen, though, before times when the NFC or AFC Championship game, quote, is the Super Bowl, and they get run. Look at the year before. Look at when the Chiefs beat Buffalo in the AFC title game, and then Philly waits and blows them out off the mat. It felt like that AFC title game was going to be it. But we'll see what happens on Sunday.
All right, was number 3 going to be about the Aztecs?
Yes, it was.
We're going to save that for the other side. We'll talk about the Aztecs' big win over New Mexico on Saturday night. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, yeah. Hey, boys. It's Quacked On Padres. Bryson here. And just wanted to hit you guys up real quick, specifically for Fletch. And just, I don't know, Seahawks fan, so had to boast a little bit. So here it is.
Thank you, Quacked. Always appreciate you being here. I really do.
Quacked, I loved it. I thought it was great.
41-6. There's nothing to say about that. I would imagine it's a similar feeling, not the same because it wasn't the Super Bowl, but a similar feeling to what Sammy had last year after the Eagles trounced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's
but
there was no chance ever in that game for the Niners. So I don't know, it was just kind of like I was dead inside by the end of the first half.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than when your team gets blown out. Now, again, I go back to we had expectations in that game.
Sure.
So
I had expectations for them.
I know you did, but I think there's expectations and delusion, and I think we have trouble mirroring that line sometimes.
That's a great point. All right, let's get caught up on the text line real quick here from the 619 Bang Bang Loser Gang. It's okay, Fletch. Niners get a third place schedule next year, so you'll have another cakewalk to the playoffs.
By the way, real quick, I was gonna ask that. It's a beautiful text because I was wondering how many weeks before that came out. That I mean. We have a third place schedule, right? That's all I heard from Jim Russell and Ben Fletcher for the entire offseason.
Even though that doesn't really work in that NFC West because you still have 8 games against really good teams. All right, 913 Fletch, how was Kendall's birthday? We missed you during the Aztecs game. Great to finally meet Sammy, and that Aztec win was sensational. Electric environment at Viejas. First and foremost, Kendall's birthday was fantastic. She turned 30. We had a room up at the Omni La Costa, so we were hanging out by the pool, watching some football games, got dinner out in Carlsbad, went and danced at some place in Carlsbad that I'm forgetting the name of, Hayes maybe, and something like that, with a bunch of like 70-year-old people. So we had a great time. I apologize to all the 70-year-old people who had to listen to Justin Bieber. I did bribe the DJ 3 or 4 times to play more Justin Bieber.
What'd you play, a little baby?
Yeah, Kendall likes Baby. She likes Let Me Tell You One Time. Okay. That's her like favorite musical person ever. So I had to get all those in for the birthday girl.
The Biebs.
But Saturday I did end up turning on the Aztecs game because the Niners game was done, toast, over with. And what a finish, man. BJ Davis coming through in the clutch. I understand. I went back and watched the whole game, and giving up that first half lead that they built is tough. But the way that game finishes off, my goodness, BJ Davis clutch, Miles Heide at the free throw line. Who would have expected it? But Sammy, we were asking for reviews on your pregame show. How do you think you did?
I was, how do I think I did? I thought
the first solo full broadcast is scary. I mean, mine, and you're doing yours like a year and a half into your career. I did mine like 5 years into my career.
So behind the scenes, I prepared in the morning. I had a bunch of facts. I had a bunch of kind of where I was going to go with it. And then it was like 3, 2, 1, you're on. And I kind of went to my second segment before my first segment. So in my head, I'm like, oh no, like I blew through my information, but it was in all seriousness, it was great. It was super fun getting to do it. And it was a really fun environment outside. People were stoked for obviously a big game against New Mexico, a lot to break down there. And to your point about the game, it was crazy. It was like the Aztecs had 9 turnovers at half compared to New Mexico 6. And the Aztecs were really just kind of outpacing them, outplaying them, had a really nice kind of last 5 minutes of the half there to kind of expand that lead to 15. And they just came out really sloppy in the second half. But to your point, BJ Davis, Miles Heide, Miles Bird, they really kind of closed the show there the last 5 minutes and was able to hold on to a big win. Because against a team like New Mexico, you just need to win that game and move on to Grand Canyon tomorrow.
Maybe Bird's best game of the season. I don't think it's particularly close, but the way he impacted the game on every single level, there were a couple of key blocks late that he made in that game. And he was a threat.
He's been much more aggressive offensively, which has been fun to watch.
I love it because on Saturday specifically, like Magoon Guat didn't have a big impact on the game at all. In fact, he was on the bench for a lot of the second half. I hope everything's okay with Magoon because something's going on there. But the way Miles Bird kicked it into high gear and took over that game is the thing we've been waiting for Miles Bird to do because we know he's capable of it.
Well, and to the point about Magoon, it was that could rattle a team. Him getting hurt literally in the first 2 minutes of the game. He's obviously a big part of the game plan, a big catalyst for what you're thinking about how you're going to attack New Mexico before the game. It was resilient of the Aztecs to actually kind of like settle down there. And I think he was really missed at the beginning of the second half. You could tell they couldn't just get an easy bucket down low with Magoon, but big for the Aztecs to be able to kind of weather that storm a little bit.
Now, it doesn't get any easier. You got to go on the road to Grand Canyon tomorrow night, 8:00. We'll be on the air starting at 7 with that game. And then you're on the road again this weekend. So it doesn't get any easier for San Diego State. But Grand Canyon, I would warn everybody, do you know where Utah State's first loss in the Mountain West calendar came? It was at Grand Canyon. It's another one of those teams that's not necessarily a great road team. They are phenomenal at home, and they've beat San Diego State there before. So a scary one coming up tomorrow night. 913 asking who won the Dutch signed basketball. Do we know yet?
We don't know yet. I believe they're still the big bosses are still calculating it.
Right on. Well, as calculations go on, so shall we. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, let's get to that college football national championship. What a game it was last night. That was a lot of fun. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. Aztecs got a big victory over New Mexico on Saturday night. They'll be back tomorrow night taking on Grand Canyon in GCU. That will be a tough matchup for them. Sean McDermott has been fired. He was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. They'll be looking for a replacement. GM Brandon Beane got a promotion, which is very curious. And big news out of the NBA, star forward Jimmy Butler has torn his ACL for the Golden State Warriors. He'll be missing the remainder of the season. And the Lake Show are back tonight at 7 o'clock against the Denver Nuggets. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you've become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer will take over then. By the way, keep listening for your chance to win $1,000 every single hour today with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 to 6. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock. All right, a couple of texts here. And by the way, use the talkback mic today. We'd love to hear you.
We love the talkback mic.
Heard from our buddy Quacked earlier who was talking smack about the 49ers. He's a Seahawks fan. If you want to jump on and talk some smack about the 49ers, we'd love to have you. So go to the free iHeartRadio app, open it up, listen to San Diego Sports 760. Top right-hand corner of the screen, there's a little microphone. You could leave us like a 30-second voicemail that goes straight to Sammy's computer. We can play it back on the show today, and I promise we will. Text line, 858. Injuries messed up long shots, but I think the Aztecs men's basketball team might be a cheat code for their money line and spread over their next 3 games. Long shots did miss by 1, and it was because Zach Charbonnet got hurt.
Brutal.
And so Kenneth Walker went over his rushing total. Had Charbonnet not gotten hurt, they were using him a lot. It probably would have hit.
I was so proud. Josh Allen hit, and Malachi Toney last night was unbelievable.
He was great.
We had a tough beat on long shots on a 5-legger.
Tough beat. All right, 858. The Cooks catch was iffy, but the first PI was garbage, and the second one should have never happened. That's true. If you take out the first pass interference in that Bills game, the second pass interference probably never comes to be, even though it was Trey White, obviously, it was pass interference.
That's if I'm a Bills fan. If I'm frustrated at a call, I'm more frustrated at the PI than I am the interception, because the PI was a pretty rough call. Again, though, I got to give Bo Nix a lot of credit. He saw there was an iffy call the one before. They didn't call it, knew they were probably going to be really flag happy there, threw it right back at the same spot, and were able to advance the ball.
That's got to be a cruddy way if you're like the offense of the Bills to watch your season go away with 2 pass interference penalties, because they were kind of still in it, and then Denver moving the ball like that. Oof.
Well, and with Bo Nix getting hurt,
right,
then that would have obviously favored Josh Allen. And
you hear Sean Payton was on the radio today, and he was kind of talking about how that all transpired. And he said it was the third to last play. He broke his ankle on that running play out the left side,
the design run.
And then he had 2 more plays on the field. And when he came over to the sideline, like they had won the game, it was over. And he came over, and Sean Payton kind of tapped him on the chest, and Bo Nix was like, "Be careful, dude. I think I seriously messed up my ankle." And that's how Sean Payton found out about it. And then they x-ray right after the game, broken, need surgery, done. What a crappy way for Denver to find out.
Yeah, that sucks.
Brutal. All right. I do want to talk about the national championship here for a second. And then Sammy said it in his update, but the fact that the Bills have fired Sean McDermott and promoted general manager Brandon Beane, we're going to need to get into that coming up here in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. College football national championship game. Everybody's talking about the Mendoza run. Excellent play. Everybody's talking about the 4th down pass he made. Excellent play. I would like to give Miami a little bit of credit, if I may, because a lot of people thought, myself included, Miami didn't have a chance of staying in that game. That this one was over before they walked through the door, because Indiana's just been doing that to everybody this year. Carson Beck played a damn good football game, and it finishes with him throwing the interception at the end, but that's kind of desperation time. Like, I'll excuse last-minute interceptions, but Carson Beck, man, like, I know last year he probably could have gone to the NFL draft and got the surgery instead and stayed in for NIL money. Is he moving up draft boards right now? Is he even going to go to the NFL? The way Carson Beck plays football, I got to think there's room for him.
Okay, so I give Miami a lot of credit because they actually, if you look at the game, outplayed Indiana in the second half. The CJ Daniels throw over the middle of the field, I believe it was like a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, something like that. Beck, they played really well. Now, in terms of the NFL, I don't know that Beck has the arm talent or the quick decision making to make it. I think he could be a day 3 pick. Like, I think someone will take a flyer on him, because to be fair to Carson Beck, he's played in 3 national championship games, and we do have to give him some love because everyone always kind of wants to go, it was the Georgia defense, or it was Miami's defense, or, Malachi Toney or Mark Fletcher, the running back for Miami. But they played really well. It was a great national championship game. Like, a lot of these national championship games,
especially considering how boring the first half was.
First half was terrible.
Everything happened in the second half.
Well, again, they outscored Indiana. You take away the block punt, they also missed the field goal. Like, the desk at half, I remember watching last night. I was watching, and Marcus Freeman and the old desk were just acting like the game was over. I was like, it's 10-0. Like, Indiana hasn't, the only touchdown drive Indiana had the first half was helped out by the penalty. The defense was all over Mendoza and company with that pass interference call. Listen, I got to give Cignetti and Mendoza a lot of credit. They went to the back shoulder fades to Charlie Becker at the end of the game. and Miami wasn't really able to stop it. But yeah, Miami, like that was just a fun national championship game because we remember the Georgia TCU 70-7. I mean, a lot of these national championship games the past few years have just simply not been competitive. And last year with Ohio State, Notre Dame was fun. And then this one was I think it was all-time classic last night. So I just think we're getting back to more parity in college football, which is going to create for better playoffs, more teams involved, and I think more interest overall.
Yeah, college football was good this season. I will give it credit there. And the college football playoff was much better this year than it was a year ago. And there was fun all over the place, man. The Ole Miss storyline was so great to watch the players step up after the head coach abandons them. That was amazing with Trinidad Chambliss. And then Miami bringing back some of that Miami toughness to college football. That defensive line carried them to the national championship, and they were oh so close last night. But the Mendoza storyline is the one that everyone's tagging onto, and it's a great one, man. I was tearing up watching everything as well when the dad stays seated during the celebrations because his mom is in a wheelchair. Like, there's some special stuff with Mendoza. If only he would talk better. But that aside from everything else, I do think, like, and if you're a Raiders fan today, text us 70470, start your message with team, because he's obviously going to the Raiders. I'm curious how his NFL career goes. I really am, but he seems like he's built out of the right stuff, man. Well, and that play where he's charging into the end zone is an all-timer in college football. It really is.
Well, Cignetti was unreal, going for it twice on the 4th and 5s. I was like, what the hell are you doing?
With the lead.
I didn't know. And by the way, the balls to call a quarterback draw like that, because it's one thing to be like, hey, here's our Heisman, we're going to go for it. It doesn't work. To call a quarterback draw, he's not even a running quarterback. That's not even like his thing. So it
does make you think, is that Mendoza's play call? Did he go to him and say, Coach, put the game in my hands right now?
Maybe. I'd
like to think that's how it happened.
They said post game they like had that play drawn up for Miami with the pass rush and they blocked it differently. It does send something to college football with, especially like all of us being Aztec fans, and not, the Aztecs are not Ohio State in terms of recruiting and things like that. Indiana, what they were able to do was Charlie Becker, the receiver that at the end of the game was making all the plays, he stayed. And when they could have transferred, when Cignetti came in, all the other 5 of the other 6 receivers all entered the transfer portal and he stayed. I think it shows that, yeah, if you go to a smaller school or you go to a school that's not Ohio State or Notre Dame or Texas, where it's like you're in the conversation every single year, you can grow and build something. So I think if you're a San Diego State fan, if you're a Michigan State fan, if you're a Rutgers fan, like take any of these a Missouri fan that have always been good schools, but they've never been really taken seriously as the top of their conferences. I think Indiana has opened up a whole new can of worms where, no, we can do something if we have the right quarterback and head coach in place.
It'd help if you had a couple million extra dollars. I would say that.
That's the other thing, right?
So, all these, you've seen how hard San Diego State's pushing for it, but now it's like, San Diego State Aztec fans, if you want the team to be great, you can actually have a direct impact on that. So just something to keep in mind, and we'll see how it goes. Because yeah, you're absolutely right, Sammy. There's the barrier for entry into the tippy top hasn't gotten smaller because of the new college football playoff. Hasn't gotten smaller because of NIL. In a lot of ways, it has, but in a lot of ways, also it just takes one big donor. It just takes.
Look at Texas Tech. They got the oil money, and all of a sudden they're getting all these top recruits in the college football playoff. Texas Tech was never a perennial player ever.
As shallow as it sounds, it just takes money.
It does.
And it takes a good head coach, which I actually believe the Aztecs have one, and he's young. And it takes having some money to build out a huge roster. So maybe in the near future, this could happen here as well. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We got a lot of texts about bets that are coming up in the near future. This is a good time of year for betting, man. It really is. We got some of our own coming up next. It's Long Shots. Sammy's going to make us all some money. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel, and I am heading up this weekend because TD, Travis Dale, and I or go to check out the Black and Blue Steakhouse, where you can enjoy the finest steaks cooked to perfection, the freshest seafood, and the most decadent desserts as you sip on hand-selected wines and impressive craft cocktails. Let's go. Plus, for only $75, you can enjoy an incredible 3-course meal from their signature menu. Dining specials available 4 nights a week, Thursday through Sunday, starting at 4:30 p.m. So make your reservation now at Black and Blue Steakhouse, voted the best casino steakhouse in San Diego. And while you're there, don't forget to join the Players Club. You'll get $20 off of your meal at the Black and Blue Steakhouse. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, now when you join the Players Club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly, like $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, and the list goes on and on and on. The more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you'll earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, invitations to exclusive events, and more. So don't miss out. Visit the Valley View Casino and Hotel. Join the Ultimate Players Club today. Get over $200 in free offers. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer's going to take over then. 858 texting into the show. I'm limiting my expectations. I've been disappointed my whole life in the Raiders, but my excitement is through the roof. I love what I see and hear from Mendoza. He is passionate, has a great football IQ. I think he's going to help morale in the building. That's from our buddy Tyson. Thank you for listening, Tyson.
Tyson's spitting some facts on his Raiders.
I like it. 760. As a Hoosier-born IU grad, I'm so proud of them. Hoosiers with the natty from our buddy Indy Drew. Congrats, Indy Drew. It must be nice to watch your team go win a national championship at something. Yeah, we'll see if I get there one day.
What? Are you talking about the Aztec, the national championship, or what are you talking about?
I'd be talking about the Super Bowl there, Sammy.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, well, you know,
maybe I'll get there someday.
It really felt like this was the year because that bad man, Patrick Mahomes, isn't in it. And I mean, unfortunately,
he's not going to be there next year either, so it's okay.
I just think there's a limit on Brock Purdy, and there's a new man in the division, and Sam Darnold. And I think a lot of Niner fans thought that with Matthew Stafford and his age on his way out, possibly this was Brock Purdy's chance. And now it looks like
doing this right now.
Sam Darnold really is the guy that's going to take over that division in the NFC. Caleb Williams showed out phenomenally. You got Jaden Daniels. I mean, all the young talent on the NFC. I think the Niners are just sitting there looking kind of old and needing a real reset going forward.
Kyle Pitts is coming in to save the day.
What?
Just you.
So you're going to pay George Kittle and Kyle Pitts?
Nah, I honestly, I was telling you this before the show. I have a weird gut feeling that Christian McCaffrey is going to retire. I haven't seen that anywhere, but I just have this gut feeling that he's going to. And Kittle's not going to be around for half of next year. Williams is probably going to retire. Like, the Niners do need a bit of a reset. So I think that's coming. It feels like this iteration of the San Francisco 49ers, their chance to win the Super Bowl was 2 years ago when your stupid Chiefs won the game in overtime. That was the team that needed to win the Super Bowl.
Just need your quarterback to make big plays in big moments. And
I just need Sammy to make big plays in big moments. And maybe right now is that time. Sammy, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
I did such a good job yesterday not really thinking about the Niners loss. Like, I tried my hardest to get it out of my head. And
then
here
I showed
Sammy goes. Just talking about everything that's wrong in my life. Sammy, win me some money, please.
So it's always a little bit of a bittersweet time of year when the NFL's coming down. It's just it's a little depressing.
But
it's
we
always
got tennis.
We're about to get to that. So it's a bittersweet time of year. Obviously, NFL winding down. It's a bummer. It's not on our TVs every Sunday. We're gonna have to sit and lay and wait for 6-7 months. But we do know with the association in the Australian Open, for those who have been watching, I don't know about you guys, but I've been locked in at midnight watching. It's daytime over there in Australia.
Really?
Yeah. What do you mean, really?
You've been watching at midnight?
Yeah. Well, what?
I respect the grind, my friend.
I mean, we got to study. I'm watching the Australian Open, watching my guys get after it. Fun tournament over there, the first major of the year. So
I'm gonna need a video tonight of you watching tennis at midnight.
I'm not playing around. I was watching Alcaraz the other night. I was watching local Taylor Fritz last night. Yeah, don't be questioning the tennis knowledge.
I'd love to hear what we got.
We have two association picks, 2 tennis picks. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with the tennis. We're going to start with Carlos Alcaraz playing in his second round matchup. We're going less than 29 total games, playing a guy named Hoffman. But the bigger story here, though, for Carlos Alcaraz, he's going for the Grand Slam. So he's 23 years old. He's won the U.S. Open multiple times. He's won Roland Garros, and I'm blanking on the other big major out there. But Wimbledon, obviously Wimbledon. So, but the one he's never won has been the Australian Open. The Australian Open, Jannik Sinner, the former number 1 overall player in the world, has really been dominating. So you see him on a quest. Novak Djokovic has been talking about what that would mean, like what that accomplishment would mean in sports if Alcaraz is able to do that at this age. Like, you're talking about one of the all-time great tennis players already. If he wins this, we'll see. I think he's on a mission. We're going less than 29 total games. He made quick work in his first round matchup. We're going to go the same here in the second. All right, Francis Tiafoe, the American, dropped to ranking 29, had a rough Wimbledon. In U.S. Open, he got it back a little bit, but the U.S. Open was supposed to be Francis Tiafoe's court. I mean, home crowd. He had a couple years ago a lot of success there at the U.S. Open, but his serve was not really working the way he wanted it to. His backhand wasn't on point. He looked very good in his first round matchup. I think he's playing Komisana today. It's a tough matchup. Komisana's a decent player, but Tiafoe, we're going to go more than 20.5 total games won. We're going to stay away from total games at 39.5. We're going to go just Tiafoe, more than 20.5 total games won. I think this goes multiple sets. Tiafoe does come out on top as the better player. All right.
Tennis, baby. Tennis.
Hey, lock it. Hey, if you're bored at night, you can't get to sleep, something's bothering you, tap into that Australian Open. We can watch our picks hit tonight. All right, then we're into the association. Come on now. We're going to have some association picks. Victor Wembanyama, Houston, San Antonio. Really fun matchup. Less than 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And everyone's going to go, Sammy, what?
Sammy, what?
We're betting against Wembanyama?
We did that a couple weeks ago. It didn't work.
Yes. But here's why. Houston, tallest starting lineup in the league. Average height is 6'7". Okay? And no, that was not a pun. I didn't do the 6. Don't do that. That's not what I meant.
It's cool, Sammy. You move your hands back and forth. It's 6'7".
No.
We learned all about that.
Victor Wembanyama has been playing exceptional ball recently. The Spurs, we know the talent, the guard spot. You got Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. I mean, the team is so deep, and they have an interesting question coming up here in a couple weeks for the Spurs of, do you package some of those guards because you have so many wing players, Keldon Johnson, to go get a star? And is Giannis on the way? Who knows? Giannis, there's a lot going on there. He's flipping off the crowd in Milwaukee. They're flipping him off back. But in terms of this game, taking on the Houston Rockets, Houston been struggling a little bit recently. Houston and the Lakers have kind of been on a little bit of a free fall the last couple of weeks, not playing at the same level of basketball that they've been accustomed to at the top of the Western Conference. But Wemby, this isn't the dirty little secret with San Antonio is although Wemby is super tall and he's over 7 foot, everyone talks about that. They don't have a lot of front court depth. That's the one kind of problem San Antonio has against a team with the size of Houston. I think Houston's going to take advantage of that, going to key on him with Şengün, Steven Adams, a lot of players there. So we're going to go less than 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Victor Wembanyama. And then this is my favorite pick of the day. And some people might go, well, Anthony Edwards just had 55 points. So are you getting baited by Vegas to take his over? Yes, we are. More than 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Anthony Edwards taking on Utah. Utah is going to be able to keep this thing close because Minnesota has been up and down at times this year. Utah has a lot of talent. Keontae George becoming a superstar. Steve Mikhailuk's having a good year, the sharpshooter out of Kansas. Utah is a solid team. Lauri Markkanen, but Anthony Edwards was completely disrespected. And it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Was not named an All-Star this season, which is crazy to me.
How dare ye?
He drops 55 points against the San Antonio Spurs the other night, loses the game. A lot of his teammates, Julius Randle, a lot of players around the NBA were coming to his defense because Anthony Edwards, listen, whatever you think about Anthony Edwards, he's one of the best two-way players in the game, and that's not even really debatable. I think he's going to be pissed off tonight. I think he's got something for Utah after losing that San Antonio game and getting snubbed in the All-Star voting. I think he's going to take it to Keontae George, and the Jazz do not play defense. They are one of the worst defensive units in the entire NBA, more than 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So to recap, Carlos Alcaraz, less than 29 total games, makes quick work. Tonight, Francis Tiafoe, more than 20.5 total games. The American, the big foe, going to get it done for us. Victor Wembanyama, less than 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists against a very tall Houston lineup. And Anthony Edwards, after the All-Star stub, more than 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Do we all realize that in a very near future, our picks are going to be World Cup and tennis? Like we're going to have full-ass long shots lineups that are tennis and soccer.
So when
you need to do some studying, man.
Let's just
to figure out how to bet soccer.
Oh, we'll definitely tap in with we're gonna have a good Lazo special.
CCC.
When we're like hitting Ghana overs, we got the Winter Olympics in a couple weeks.
Sure. I wonder. Oh yeah. Can we bet on snowboarding? Well, like, how many tricks landed?
The problem with betting snowboarding though is, although it's cool,
I don't know what we're rooting for.
Well, and it's all subjective. So technically, I'm not saying there's corruption in the Olympics, but if there's a lot of money coming in on one way.
Oh my God, Sammy, there's a red laser on your neck right now. I think they're getting you, Sammy. You're being targeted.
So Milan Courts, I wonder what the excitement is around the Olympics.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
You get to watch Shalom skiing. Are you kidding me?
I'm so hyped. We're going to have a Shalom. What if we go live with listeners when the Shalom skiing's on?
If anyone missed last week, this joke makes no sense. But Sammy was trying to say slalom skiing, and he said Shalom skiing, and it was funny, and we all laughed, and we had a great time.
I think Shalom skiing should be the new name. I think slalom is old. It's useless.
Slalom, baby.
It's not even a real sport.
619 is suggesting that the next person who says 6'7" and does the hand motion should get punched in the nether regions. Not a bad idea, 619.
You're the one that did it.
6'7". God, what a horrible song. Have you listened to that song?
Yeah, I don't know why you keep doing it.
Our texters sent me that song because I want to know what's cool, Sammy, and that's cool. But our texter sent us the song. It is one of
the you just worst. Say I want to know what's cool.
I want to know what's cool.
How old are you?
You got 30 almost. 6'7".
You play much older.
Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that. That's how I've managed to have such wild success, both on the streets and in the sheets, baby.
Oh my! That's not something that anyone on their lunch break needed to imagine or hear.
San Diego Sports 760 should be 670. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by eBay. Indiana won the national championship last night. They are co-favorites to win it next year alongside Texas. Laker basketball back on San Diego Sports 760 tonight at 7 o'clock. Lakers in Denver taking on the Nuggets. The Lakers are currently 2.5-point favorites in that one, with the point total set at 227.5, and it has been confirmed. Star forward for the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler, has torn his ACL. Imagine what you can find on eBay, like a rare hologram trading card that you've become totally obsessed with, shiny like the designer handbag of your dreams. eBay has it. They even have the perfect parts that will fit your car. Millions of finds, each with a story. Find it at eBay.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
The NFL Final Four is set.
Kick on the way. And Denver's going to the AFC Championship game. Lutz from 24 yards out.
The Patriots win it over the Texans 28-16. Reach the AFC Championship game. It's good! The Rams win it 20-17 in overtime.
Sorry, Fletch.
49ers' improbable run of an impossible dream comes to an end tonight here at Lumen Field in the NFC Divisional Round.
We take the first look at Championship Sunday, the college football playoff title game.
And the rags to riches story for Indiana football comes to conclusion, and they are the national champions of 2026.
And the Aztecs stayed perfect in Mountain West play.
Kicks corner to Gorville. His three is good. Taj knocks down the three. 6 quick ones for the Aztecs who are tied up.
Is it too early to speak about the madness? Plus,
Josh Allen, more than 36.5 rush yards against that Denver defense.
What the heck just happened?
Kenneth Walker, less than 58.5 rush yards against the Niners.
Shouldn't somebody get him to stop?
Dalton Schultz, more than 4.5 receptions for the Houston Texans. Kyron Williams, more than 61.5 rush yards.
Looks like I ain't shooting with blanks no more.
Malachi Toney, wide receiver for Miami, more than 76.5 rush and receiving yards.
I've seen the future.
let's kick off the week from the San Diego Sports 760 studios inside the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer will take over then. In just a little bit, we're going to get into this conversation about the Buffalo Bills, that job opening, along with the Baltimore Ravens job opening, which one we think is going to be a better job. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go with that, especially since maybe the most coveted NFL head coach is already off the market with John Harbaugh officially going to the New York Giants. I did want to get some of these YouTube comments in here before we get going in hour 2. Our buddy FedEx Trey saying best season of my lifetime for the Bears. Bear down, baby. Coach Johnson and Caleb Williams era is for real. Yeah, the Bears easily could have won that game against the Rams, man. Overachieving is one way to put it in year 1 of the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams experiment. I would say for the next 5 or 6 years, Bears fans, get excited because, man, Loveland, the tight end, is fantastic. Caleb Williams looked great. A fully healthy season from Roma Dunze next year could be amazing. I think that the Bears are just scratching the surface of what's to come.
The Bears were unbelievable, and Caleb's receivers sold him so badly in that game. Roma Dunze drops the touchdown, runs the wrong route on the first drive of the game.
Loveland, after having the amazing game 1 in the
like 4
postseason,
drops.
was awful against the Rams.
DJ Moore doesn't flatten his route where the receiver's supposed to do, which is come back to the ball when it's a crossing route, and lets Caleb throw the pick at the end of the game. And to FedEx Trey's point, that 4th down play was unbelievable. All hope was lost. And, it throws the touchdown pass. The Bears are really set up. In the NFC, like there's so many good young quarterbacks. In the NFC, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, like there's a lot of really young, talented teams that the Bears are really going to only go up. And honestly, the defense probably overachieved. It was very turnover dependent, but they're going to fix that in the draft. So the Bears are going to be legit contenders next year.
And Manungai at the running back position looks fantastic. The dude's a bowling ball when he's running through. So Bears, congratulations on a great season. And looking forward to see what they do, truly. Jay Sills says, notice I didn't tweet at you during the Niners game, Fletch. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. Jay Sills also saying, I'm not saying I called it, but I did. Allen, man. Allen. Josh Allen was terrible.
Jay Sills and I.
He was awful. Lori says, sorry about your teams being out of it, but now you can root for the Rams.
Yeah. I just want whoever wins the NFC title game. I literally don't care.
there's not a team left that I can even kind of root for. Maybe the Broncos.
Oh God,
maybe I can kind of root for the Broncos. Yeah, I might just go hang out at Travis Dale's house and be a Broncos fan for the next couple of weeks. I will be rooting for whoever I bet on. How about that? That sounds good. Okay, cool.
Selfish person.
I'm okay with it. All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. Let's talk really quickly here, Sammy, about some of the happenings with the head coaching hires. So Tennessee hires Robert Saleh, fresh off of the Niners bench. He was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers this year. Previous to that, he was with the 49ers. He was also the head coach of the Jets. So Robert Saleh goes to Tennessee, and then the Packers defensive coordinator goes to Miami. Sammy, remind me his name.
Jeff Hafley.
Jeff Hafley. Goes to the Miami Dolphins. So both the Dolphins and the Titans take defensive-minded guys. Now, I'm fine with that because a lot of the head coaching stuff is cultural anyways, but we saw Robert Saleh with a young quarterback with the Jets not really work out all that well. Why do we think Robert Saleh is going to be the perfect option for the Tennessee Titans, who have, a young quarterback in Cam Ward and not close to a ready-to-go team around him? This feels like a mistake for the Titans. It feels like a bigger mistake for Robert Saleh to take this job.
Well, the Dolphins, I understand more going with a defensive-minded head coach. Now, you can have your reservations about Jeff Hafley. It's not like the defense was great when Micah Parsons went down.
No.
Now, obviously, that's one of the reasons why the defense was supposed to be good, but they weren't. They gave up that huge lead in the Bears game, the first playoff game. So I don't know if that's some great hire, but I understand a more defensive-minded head coach from Miami, knowing you got to fix the defense. The defense has kind of been in a little bit of a disarray.
They just had the young offensive guru in Mike McDaniel, so maybe a change of pace is what they were looking for.
And they don't have their quarterback yet. And honestly, they're probably not going to have their quarterback next year because it's not like they're not going to be picking Mendoza. And unless they go with Ty Simpson out of Alabama, who I think a lot of people have reservations with, I don't think that they're going to be nurturing along some super young QB. With the Saleh deal, I get it from Saleh's perspective. He just wanted a head coaching job, but Tennessee,
there's other options.
You're supposed to be making sure Cam Ward has everything he needs to be successful. And I'm not saying this is Saleh's fault because Zach Wilson was a bust, but when has Robert Saleh ever mentored a young quarterback? He's mentored a young defense with not a lot of talent on it. And there's a lot of young talent on that Tennessee defense. So I have no doubt that Saleh's going to get the defense running phenomenally, but you better go get some hot shot offensive coordinator to run the offense.
Maybe it'll be Mike McDaniel.
Maybe then I would look at that as a home run hire. But I don't understand why with Cam Ward, by the way, a real lack of receiving weapons in Tennessee already, you really need a scheme guy to really kind of put Cam Ward in the best position to win. I'm surprised Cam Ward signed off on this.
I knew Saleh was going to get another head coaching job this year. I was shocked to find out it was Tennessee. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense either way for me. But we'll see. If it's Mike McDaniel, I would agree with you, Sam. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Bring that crew back together. They worked excellent together. And maybe that's ushering in an era of success for Cam Ward, who I do think looked good at times this year. Doesn't have the pieces around him yet, but Cam Ward outperformed what I thought he'd be as a first-year rookie quarterback. All right, Sam, let's get to the big three here of our number two, and then we got to talk about Harbaugh and Tomlin. Yeah, baby. We'll get to that on the other side. Sammy, go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
All right, Sammy, our number two. Let's hear what you got.
We're going the NBA. Jimmy Butler, unfortunately, brutally tears his ACL. Real
sucks.
Bummer for Jimmy Butler, especially late in his career. But the question is this for the Warriors. Should they consider blowing the team up? Should Curry demand out? Where are you at? Or should Curry just kind of run his career out there in Golden State as the legacy?
I do feel like Curry may just run his career out with the Warriors, but I do think the Warriors should do everything possible to get rid of as many pieces as possible going down the stretch. Look, we had this conversation a lot in the preseason of the NBA this year. If the Warriors got in with a healthy Steph and Jimmy, doesn't matter what seed they are, they have a chance to get all the way to the top. Well, that's not going to happen anymore because Jimmy's hurt and Jimmy's out for the rest of the season with the torn ACL. I think the Warriors understand that. It is a smart ownership and general manager group with the Golden State Warriors. I would imagine it's no longer just going to be Kuminga who's getting dealt, but they may move a lot of pieces here. The Steph Curry thing is interesting. And this is kind of what bugs me about the NBA, if I'm being completely honest. Decisions don't always get made about winning. And this is true for all sports. Steph Curry leaving the Warriors would not make a whole lot of sense for Steph Curry. so much of his outside life is tied to being a Golden State Warrior. So much of his endorsements, career, everything is kind of tied to San Francisco. He has a lot of techie endorsements, and I don't know that those stick with him if he leaves. Whereas if he stays, he could have those well into retirement. Like, I don't think people understand how beloved he is in that area. And I think it would be the business side of Steph saying, no, I'm going to stay with this team and retire with this team.
Well, I hear that, and I mean, you can make an argument. He's one of the greatest athletes ever from the Bay, or that played in the Bay, regardless of sport. So
you could put him right up there with Barry.
Right. I mean, you can't. Right, obviously, Barry Bonds. There's a ton of 49ers players. Montana, Young.
I mean, Montana stays up there by himself.
Right. That's fine. I'm not putting Curry above any one of them, but Curry's in that conversation. If someone said Curry's the greatest athlete to ever play in the Bay, I don't think you could call them crazy. Steph Curry, it'll be interesting to see what happens here because he's 37. He's still playing at an extremely high level. He would get a crazy amount on the trade market. This team is not competing anymore. The point of, I do think that if they would have gotten in, I don't think they would have went to an NBA championship, but they could have certainly been held for someone at the top of the bracket in Oklahoma City, a Houston, a Denver, a San Antonio, with Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Kuminga, and Curry. With no Butler there, this is really just Curry and a bunch of guys. They got a few young pieces in Podziemski, and we'll see what happens with Kuminga. But it just depends. If Curry's cool being beloved in the Bay, running out his career, and that's totally respectable. He's won 4 rings there. But if he's going to do that, you're probably not even winning a ring, and you're probably not even sniffing the NBA Finals anytime soon the next 4 years. If he wants to go try to win and try to really pass Magic Johnson on a legacy of point guards, I would try to move. But the Warriors' perspective, it'd honestly be better for the Warriors to move off all these guys, but just politically, they're not going to trade Steph Curry without him requesting it.
Well, how many of those tech companies that I was just talking about own suites at Oracle Arena or whatever it's called these days? It's not Oracle anymore. Chase Center. Every kid has a Curry jersey, right? And they're throwing up shots from half court. Do you trade that? Yeah. What does that do to your top end clients? All right, Sammy, what's next?
Who had a better season? So a lot of people have compared this. Fernando Mendoza, 16-0, wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, or Joe Burrow, who did the exact same thing at LSU in 2019. Who would you say had the better season?
Dude, it's a great comparison. It really is. I am going to say Mendoza because Burrow had a little more help around him. Like Burrow, we understand, like that's a almost NFL all-pro team he had at LSU in terms of skill position guys. Fernando Mendoza, we'll see how they all pan out throughout their career. Maybe this is one of those graphics that we see 5 years down the line when Mendoza's playing for the Raiders and Beckman's playing for whoever. Like we'll see a graphic at some point. But Joe Burrow certainly had a little more help than Mendoza had. And the season that he put together, along with the storylines, I certainly got more invested in it. Like I'm going to say Mendoza's more impressive. And he did it at a school that's historically not good at football.
I go Mendoza for those reasons. It's when you're playing with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, it's not a shot at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was unbelievable. Had one of the greatest college seasons, throwing almost 60 passing touchdowns. But when you have that kind of help, they didn't have the defense that Indiana had. But yeah, taking a program of Indiana's caliber, it's interesting how you compare it. Like Cam Newton's another guy. How do you compare that? He didn't have the same record that Mendoza had, but Cam was also kind of by himself at Auburn. Like there's a lot you could go with. Vince Young. There's a lot you could go with this, and it's obviously a prisoner of the moment thing. Every time there's a Heisman winner, it's like he's the best we've ever seen, or all this stuff. I don't think Mendoza's that. I think Joe Burrow was actually a better prospect coming out despite the injury, but certainly unbelievable season and taking a team that no one would have. If you would have told people before the year that Indiana was winning a national championship, they would have laughed you off wherever you were saying it.
And it's funny talking about college quarterbacks because, like, I can sit here honestly and say the best college quarterback season I've ever seen was the 2 years by Tebow when he was at Florida.
Very fair.
But we knew that Tebow wasn't going to pan out at the next level as a quarterback. Like, we knew that going in. With Mendoza, I do feel like there's some pressure on him to be good next year.
Right, he has measurables to be the guy.
I'm curious to see how it works, man.
Quick third story. Kind of slipped under the radar over the weekend. So Detroit interviews Mike McDaniel for the job, the offensive coordinator job. Spurns him. Mike McDaniel's not getting the job. Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator from Arizona, is getting the job. Do you like the hire? Does this make any sense? Where do you see Detroit next year in the playoff picture?
I mean, we'll see, man. I think that the easy jump reaction is that Dan Campbell relied on Ben Johnson a lot. And you can see that this year. And you can go down the rabbit hole of, Well, maybe Ben Johnson was the guy who made Detroit as special as it was. Maybe Dan Campbell had nothing to do with it. There's a marriage of the two. And Ben Johnson this year in Chicago did something that I didn't think he would be capable of, and was build a culture around Caleb Williams. And you could tell the entire team's bought into it. And they weren't the most polished team over the weekend, but man, they're exciting to watch. And Ben Johnson's going to continue that for a while. Dan Campbell has to do this to reignite himself. Like, he has to give us all the buzz that we used to have about Dan Campbell. He needs to do that again. And if you bring in Mike McDaniel, is Mike McDaniel the guy that's going to get all the credit? Well, he brings in a dude from Arizona. How was Arizona's offense this year, Sammy?
They were not very good.
Pretty terrible, as a matter of fact. This is a big risk for Dan Campbell. If this doesn't work out, man, his head is gone. Well, he's done.
This is like in politics when you don't want to pick this is not about the current administration. You don't pick a VP that's bigger than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is whatever it is. This is you don't want whatever business it is, your tier below to be the guy that everyone's going to go, well, should he replace him? That's what Mike McDaniel would be. Mike McDaniel would make Detroit the best offense in the league, one of the best offenses in the league, and everyone will go, wait, so let me get this straight. When he has Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell's great. When he doesn't have Dan Campbell, or he doesn't have Ben Johnson, and he has Morton, they're not great, and they miss the playoffs. Mike McDaniel, offensive guru, comes back. Guess who people are looking at? Is Dan Campbell the right head coach? Should we just give it to Mike McDaniel? So you get a guy that Drew Petzing is really never going to top Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, I think he's a great motivator, but I think you got major question marks of what he is actually as a head coach, because it's easy to look great. We have Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn running both sides of the ball, now head coaches in the league. What do you specifically bring to the table? I think that's a lot of people's concern with Sirianni and Philly. Like, what is it that you do which separates you from everyone else? We know Shanahan's a great play caller. Andy Reid's a great play caller. There's a lot of guys that kind of have a calling card, and I think this was a safe hire. If I was a Detroit Lions fan, I'd be furious why Mike McDaniel. That felt like a no-brainer that he should be the offensive coordinator, but going in a different direction.
Mike McDaniel may get one of these other jobs that's floating around. I don't know if everyone saw, but there's a quarterback named Josh Allen who now needs a head coach. What's the best fit in Buffalo? Let's talk about it on the other side at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. I would like to formally apologize. I was supposed to talk about this much earlier on the show, but I'll talk about it right now. February 6th. Clear your calendars. February 6th is the Friday before the big game, otherwise known as the Super Bowl. And we are bringing back something that we did a couple years ago. The big game tailgate is happening on February 6th. Sammy's going to be there. We're hoping to get John Schaefer there as well. But Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, we're throwing a big old party from 6 to 10 a.m. So get on out to K&B Bistro the Friday before the Super Bowl for the big game tailgate, the semi-annual, I guess, once every 2 years. We do this big party. It's going to be a ton of fun. There's going to be tons of giveaways. You will walk out of K&B Bistro with something you did not walk in with. I promise you that. So mark your calendar now. Make plans. Show up to work late. We will have excuse notes for your bosses. So get on out to K&B Bistro, 6 a.m.
Will they be legible if they're written by Travis Dale or Rich Ornberger?
You know, Rich actually has like the nicest handwriting of any grown adult I've ever met.
Really?
Like, it's beautiful. I think that's what CTE did to Rich. Gave him great handwriting.
Gave him penmanship.
He has, like, I'm telling you, it is you would think a professional, I don't know, a stenographer? Is that the court person who types? That's not right. A professional calligrapher. That's the word I'm looking for. Writes everything that Rich writes out. It's kind of amazing.
Wow. Okay.
So, Sam, are you excited? Are you very excited?
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Big game tailgate. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I've never been to a big game tailgate, so I'm very excited to have our first entry into the big game tailgate world.
There's
heard a lot of stories.
Well, there's definitely going to be animals. Last time we had a goat. This year, TD is convinced we're going to have something much, much bigger than a goat. So
it's amazing the budget iHeart gives to buy.
You want to know what it is? Zero. You want to know what me and TD do for weeks leading up to something like this? Call everybody and say, what kind of animal do you have and can you bring it out? And then they do. It's kind of amazing. We're hoping to get a camel this year.
That poor camel, man.
No, the camel's going to have a great time. It's going to be great. So February 6th, mark your calendars. Get on out there. There's going to be tons of stuff given away. Thousands of dollars of prizes literally given away at the big game tailgate. And if you've never been to one before, man, it's fun. All right. Baltimore's job still open. Buffalo's job recently vacated. Pittsburgh's job open. So let's talk about some guys and maybe some fits that we see, because the obvious one, Sammy, and you correct me if I'm wrong, like Mike Tomlin going to Buffalo is obvious to me. Mike Tomlin, who had his most success with a tank of a quarterback named Big Ben Roethlisberger, could go to Buffalo, fix that defense, and oh, by the way, have a tank of a quarterback in Josh Allen. And Mike Tomlin, in his tenure as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, during that time, how many all-pro, all-world Hall of Fame wide receivers was Mike Tomlin able to draft or be a part of? You think about guys like Hines Ward, guys like Antonio Brown, who before he went crazy. Yeah, like
Juju was good for a minute.
His hit rate on wide receivers is out of this world. That's what Buffalo needs. They need Mike Tomlin to come in.
Well, we'll see if he's interested. We'll see if, obviously, it'd make a lot of sense. Sounds like he wants to go to TV for the year. But I think the bigger question is, like, who's the more attractive job? And right now, I would say Baltimore, because if I'm the Bills, Brandon Beane, with all due respect, has been awful GM. I mean,
he actually got promoted.
He got promoted.
That's crazy to me.
We were talking before the show. He's drafted 2 Pro Bowlers his entire career. This is James Cook and Dawson Knox. This is what he hasn't shown at all, that he could put a team around Josh Allen. Now, I've been very critical of Josh Allen. I do think that at times, like this year especially, he choked away that game. There's been times where he could have been better, but Brandon Beane has not shown a structure of building a defense. They run the same defense back every year with Ed Oliver and Matt Milano and thinking things are going to change. They haven't got the receiver room right. They could have had Jalen Waddle for a first-round pick with Miami at the trade deadline. They didn't do it. If I'm Baltimore, I'm getting a better draft pick. I'm getting Lamar Jackson, who's obviously a superstar player. You're getting a ton of defensive players returning from injury. Matabike is going to be back. Wiggins going to be back. You have a lot of guys. Kyle Hamilton is going to be back. He got hurt in that game against Pittsburgh. Oh, and by the way, let's look at the division that we're in. So the Buffalo job, it's not like New England's going anywhere. That's going to be a good team for the future. The Jets are an abomination. We'll see if Miami can get a turnaround. But the other one, the only coach that I have to deal with is Zach Taylor. Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers don't have a quarterback. The Browns don't have a quarterback unless you believe Shador's the guy, and he hasn't shown that he has the upside to be an elite passer. And as long as Zach Taylor's still in Cincinnati, they can't get a defense right, and it's going to be the same story with Joe Burrow every year. So if I'm looking at both jobs, the Baltimore Ravens are a way more successful franchise than the Bills ever have, and obviously having Josh Allen is a big piece, but I don't trust that the front office is going to put the right pieces around me.
I mean, you are right on the outside that Baltimore's the better job as of right now. Now, my brain would go to, well, what do the next 5 years look like for both franchises? And I'm thinking if you are a head coach who could come in and be a big part of the war room with Brandon Beane and hopefully get some of your picks in there too, and you have faith in that, over the next 5 years, Buffalo feels like the better job to me because I think the next 5 years are more friendly to Josh Allen than they are to Lamar Jackson. But it really just depends on how you think Lamar Jackson. Because of injury, because of if he loses half a step on his speed, is Lamar Jackson the same guy? Like, I have more faith that Josh Allen's play style has better longevity to it than Lamar Jackson's play style has better longevity to it.
That's fair.
Like, truthfully, we may have already seen the peak of Lamar Jackson.
Have we seen the peak of Josh Allen?
That's the worry. So for me, I'd probably take Buffalo. But all your reasons are 100% right for why next season Baltimore is the better job.
If you whatever coach goes to,
that was intense, man.
Did you hear that spike out?
Yeah, there was like an electrical shock that just went through my ears.
Yeah, I know my headset's like spazzing out right now.
That was cool.
I thought it was just me. But,
Stranger Things. We're the upside down.
But like Baltimore, if you don't believe Lamar, if you're not going to build a system, the head coach has to build a system around Lamar.
Yeah.
That's what John Harbaugh was phenomenal at, and why I think Jackson Dart's going to have a lot of success in New York. They built an entire system around a guy who a lot of people thought should be a corner or a running back because of his athletic attributes. Josh Allen's unbelievable. And obviously, if you start a team with a future Hall of Fame quarterback, yeah, you're going to feel good about your chances. I just don't know, with Beane still there, why is any of the drafting, why is any of these things going to change? I don't see any of that changing. Like, it's the same guy.
That's why you need a Tomlin. That's why you need a Tomlin to come in, who was a big part of those Pittsburgh draft rooms, who has had a lot of success. YouTube real quick. We got our buddy FedEx Trey saying, truly think Buffalo and Baltimore got to throw the bag at McDaniel. Sammy, what do you have on the text line?
760. What would teams have to trade in order to get Mike Tomlin as their coach? That's the other thing. Mike Tomlin, what would he go for? Like a first round pick? Sean Payton went for a first.
Probably exactly what Sean Payton went for, would be my guess.
So you're telling me, so if I'm Buffalo, I think it'd be a good move in that you're getting a grown up in the room. Not that Sean McDermott was not a grown up, but I think there was, you had to change something.
Someone had a really interesting tweet out about Sean McDermott, and it actually put his entire career with the Bills in a totally different light for me. It was like the Eagles needed to move on from Andy Reid, even though he's the guy who kind of got them there.
Right.
In order to get over the hump. And like McDermott, what he did with the Buffalo Bills was turn around a franchise that went through decades of losing, and he did that successfully. Right. Now he had like you said, a future Hall of Fame quarterback potentially in Josh Allen to be a big part of that. But McDermott did turn the whole thing around. It feels like the next guy is the guy who needs to just get them over the hump.
It's like Golden State. It's like Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson built the dynasty. Steve Kerr took it over and ran it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. 858 thoughts on Mike McDaniel getting the head coach job for the Bills.
That would be great hire for them.
I like it. They got to fix the defense, though. That's a big problem. And somebody needs to draft some wide receivers in that room. And obviously, Brandon Beane hasn't been that guy. Our buddy Frank on YouTube says, love your show, guys. Just got on here, so you may have already talked about this. What did you guys think of the Denver McMillan interception of Allen in overtime? Is it an interception or a catch by Cooks? Well, let's revisit it, shall we? On the other side, it's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Indiana won the national championship last night over Miami in a thriller. Indiana, Kurt Signetti are co-favorites to win next year as well. And big news out of the NBA, star forward Jimmy Butler has torn his ACL. He'll be missing the remainder of the season for the Golden State Warriors. And the Lake Show are back tonight on San Diego Sports 760, taking on the Nuggets in Denver. No Nikola Jokic in this one. Will be Luka and Jamal Murray going at it. Lakers are currently 2.5-point favorites. That game will get going here at San Diego Sports 760 at 7 p.m. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. The Aztecs are back on the road tomorrow night. They got Grand Canyon, GCU. Our pregame coverage gets going at 7. John Schaefer's going to have the tip just after 8 right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Our buddy FedEx Trey says, if y'all don't mention that Caleb Williams throw on 4th down once this hour, I will be so disappointed. I will say this, that was the most impressive throw of the NFL season this year.
It was unbelievable.
Backpedaling, fading away, game on the line to just throw it up there. Now, maybe a 0.5% of luck involved here, but that was one of the most unbelievable throws I've ever seen in my life. Caleb Williams is the real deal. FedEx Trey, congratulations on your quarterback.
All second-year quarterbacks played exceptional. It's funny.
Sure. Drake May probably played the worst.
That's what I was about to get to. I think Drake May played the worst of them all. I thought Bo Nix was fantastic. Now, again, would have liked to have seen him actually lead them down the field at the end of the game, not just the flags called, but I got to give Bo Nix a lot of love. 3 touchdowns, should have had 4 if Lil Jordan Humphrey catches the first one. But Caleb, some of those interceptions were not on him.
No, it was miscommunications.
Roma Dunze misses the one on the first drive of the game. Touchdown, walk-in touchdown. Colson Loveland looked like he forgot how to catch a football after being one of the best tight ends in the league against Green Bay. There's really an unfortunate set of events. The Bears, as I mentioned earlier, should be a real favorite next year out of the NFC.
Like, I don't know that there's one other quarterback who makes that throw that Caleb Williams makes. It's Patrick Mahomes. But being able to drop it in the bucket into the back corner of the end zone, falling away with 3 different defensive linemen in your face, one of the more impressive throws I've seen all season long. Well, that was unbelievable.
That's why I know, like, I was really high on Caleb all year. It's with Caleb, it's the doing the little things, and you saw him get better at it. It's the
5 to 7 yard routes are rough still.
Right. That's what needs to get better. But there's things with Caleb Williams that Mahomes has, Josh Allen has, Aaron Rodgers has had, Lamar Jackson's had, that you just can't teach. That guys just have and are like, he's exceptional. His physical traits jump off the thing. He was unbelievable at Oklahoma, unbelievable at USC. Neither of those 2 schools could field a defense when he was there. Kind of a similar thing with the Bears, even though they did have a good defensive game this past weekend. It's both second-year quarterbacks, all of them. Bo Nix, Drake May, and Caleb Williams, and forget about Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels was in the NFC title game last year. So that draft class looks unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Now, what Caleb Williams needed to get better at this year, which he did, was reading NFL defenses and not taking so much time in the pocket. Remember, it was a concern early this season as well. He was pretty good against the Rams, man, and able to avoid a lot of the usual Caleb mistakes that we've seen so far. All right, really quickly here, it's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We will get a reset on the long shots coming up in just a little bit. We have a giveaway for everybody out there, and Sammy is pumped about this one. Let me tell you, Charlie Puth. April 22nd at Viejas Arena. I say the guy is ridiculously talented. Charlie Puth.
I'm not hating on Charlie Puth.
I know, Sammy. I said you were excited for this. This is right up your alley.
I got to be honest. I couldn't name one Charlie Puth song, but he is a talented musician.
Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Doesn't he do that song at the end of one of the Fast and Furious movies? The one right after Paul Walker died?
Oh, is that him?
It's been a long day.
Is that him?
I think so. Pretty sure.
Wow.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
P.
Charlie Puth is going to be at Viejas Arena on April 22nd. We're going to give those tickets away in about 3 minutes.
That's going to be a big show. People will definitely show up to that.
Here's the thing. If you don't want them, I promise you your daughter does want these tickets. So be the best dad ever. Give us a call in a few minutes here. We'll tell you exactly when to call. All right. We were just talking about the Mike Tomlin thing. And if it is a year where he goes and does TV, I get it. But man, with all the openings that there are now, that feels like a waste. I feel like there are places where Mike Tomlin could go and instantly be successful. I don't think that the world predicted as much as Sammy predicted that McDermott would get fired like he got fired. And maybe it was the way that game unfolded. I don't know. But, man, now the Buffalo's open. I wonder if Mike Tomlin is reconsidering his idea of shutting it down for a year.
I thought McDermott would get fired was because there's three constances, and it's Josh Allen, McDermott, and Bean. Obviously, Josh Allen's not getting cut or traded. That's off the table. I'm extremely surprised. If I was Buffalo, and I think it was time to fire McDermott and move in a different direction, but how Bean has a job. Bean's done an even worse job than McDermott has. McDermott at least has had them in a position to be in these games. Like, what has been Brandon Bean's calling card? There's been no development of young talent. It's been running the same core group of guys year after year back. And I can't believe that Buffalo not only kept him, they promoted him.
I couldn't believe it either. That was shocking. And so our buddy Frank Thomas, who asked about that McMillan interception of Josh Allen in overtime, he asked if it was an interception or a catch by Cooks. I am of the thought that it's a catch. I can explain why quickly. I understand the arguments against. I've heard that a lot. The fact that it happened in the Rams game just less than 24 hours later kind of makes me mad because that got called the opposite direction. The shin goes down, and yes, there is a tie. Both the defender and the receiver had the football. In history, you would say the tie goes to the receiver, not the defender. As soon as that shin goes down, it should be done. It should be over. The defender is making contact with the receiver. That play should have been dead, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some wiggle room here. But where I'll point it out is that if that happens on the sideline, and obviously it didn't, but if it happens on the sideline, 100 out of 100 times that is called a catch. But because it happened in the field of play, it's called an interception. I do think the Bills got kind of jobbed on that. However, I don't think Josh Allen or the Bills deserve to win that football game, so I'm kind of okay with how it ended. But it does annoy me that there's some inconsistencies with how games are officiated. And still, what are we? Are we 15 years past the Des Bryant, what is a catch? We still don't know what a catch is in the NFL.
Well, it's frustrating. I see it differently. I see it, the Devontae Adams one, his knee was down, and the Bears ripped the ball out.
The shin means the knee. We've learned that.
Right, so he was down. But the problem with the Cooks one is McMillan has his hands cradled around the ball, just like Cooks does. At the same time,
tie goes to receiver.
Never looked like Cooks had possession. So then the impact happens on the ground. The ball comes out immediately. It wasn't like he was down and they ripped the ball out. I just see it differently. I thought that was a clean interception. Look, I get it. If I'm a Buffalo fan and just an NFL fan, would you have liked to see them take a look at it? Yeah, because it's such a pivotal part of the game.
McDermott said after the game, I actually thought McDermott did a great job. He said, I'm standing up for Buffalo. Damn it. How is that not looked at? And he's right. Like, how is that just moved on from as quickly as it was? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
That I'm with. But a lot of Buffalo fans are on here going, we got jived. We got screwed.
They didn't.
Your quarterback had 4 turnovers, lost the fumble on another one that got recovered. He had Dawson Knox or Duncan Cade over the middle of the field and missed him on the final drive of the game. They got the stop. The defense got the stop and gave it back to him.
They had every opportunity to go win that game, and they didn't take it. That was just one opportunity that was missed out of 5 others where Josh Allen actually missed them.
Again, if I had a bigger gripe with the refs, was not the interception.
The first PI.
The first PI, I think, on Buffalo was a pretty ticky-tack call. They were hand fighting. It was a big point in the game.
And was that third down?
It was third down.
That was third down. There was a chance Denver would have punted it back.
Right. They would have keep going back and forth. It'd been a field position game. And then the second one was PI. The second one I had a problem with. Tre'Davious White ripped his arms down.
Well, that was a Hail Mary by Tre'Davious White. It was like, well, right. If he catches this, the game is over for sure. It's a little bit like fouling a guy on the way for a wide open layup. You're like, all right, well, if I let him go, he's making this no matter what. But if I foul him, even if it's hard, he's got to go earn him at the line.
The one on I think the problem is at the end of the game, Bo Nix and Denver got walked down the field on 2 penalties. They really didn't make any plays offensively to do it. But overall, Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen. And again, at what point are we talking about Josh Allen? You have to come through in the biggest moments.
I think today is that day, Sammy. You've been waiting for it for years. Today is that day where we could ask questions about Josh Allen. But I will say it leaves you kind of, damn it, because now the AFC Championship game feels a little less than, because Bo Nix did break his ankle on the.
Do you think we're headed for a Dan Marino type career with Josh Allen?
No, I don't. I think he gets there. I really do. I think maybe. And if that happens, man, we'll talk about Josh Allen the same way people talk about Dan Marino still. Like, it's almost like people don't really hold it against Dan Marino that much. They still call him one of the most special athletes, one of the most special quarterbacks we've ever seen in the NFL. Maybe that happens with Josh Allen. I think he does win one. I hope he does win one, honestly, just as long as it's not over the 49ers.
My thing is this, is like Josh Allen's an exceptional player. And when you watch him from a regular season perspective, you go, he's one of the most special that you've seen in recent memory. But as I pointed out for a long time now, when we're crushing Herbert for going 0-3, right, in the playoffs. Lamar's playoff record, Lamar gets crushed. Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, your boy, have been to a Super Bowl. Hurts has won a Super Bowl, gets crushed for losing in the postseason. It just feels like at times, and this is the first time the media is starting to come around, it's like it can't always be someone else's fault. And this was the first game.
This was Josh Allen's fault.
Right. He lost the game.
The first time it was clearly Josh Allen's fault.
Right. Like, it wasn't a missed
I know
kick.
You have your list of things that happen in Josh Allen's career that prove why he's a bad postseason quarterback.
2 years in a row, he blew it.
But he's not a bad postseason quarterback. He played bad in this game. Absolutely. He played bad in this game. Still had a chance to win, man. And I honestly, watching it, I couldn't believe that the Bills didn't go win that game with a Josh Allen Superman moment, but it didn't happen. So that's credit against him. All right, quick break here. We'll reset long shots on the other side, make everybody some money. If you missed it, tennis is back. So we're obviously
the Australian Open, we're tapped in.
We're going to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars here over the next couple of days. It's San Diego Sports 760. Find out how coming up next live on the iHeartRadio app. But first, Charlie Puth. Charlie
Puth.
Freaking Puth is performing at Viejas Arena coming up on April 22nd. If you want those tickets, call right now, 877-767-4760. Caller number, why don't we go with Josh Allen's number? Is 17 too much for you, Sammy?
We can do 17. I just don't think we'd want to give them to people who are choke artists in big moments.
Damn. All right, then let's just go caller number 7. How about that? Caller number 7, you're going to see Charlie Puth at the Viejas Arena coming up on April 22nd. Call right now for your chance to win at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a final time today. John Schaefer is going to be coming up next. We got Aztecs basketball tomorrow night at 8 o'clock from Grand Canyon University. Tough place to play. Going to be a big one for San Diego State. Reset long shots in just a second. Sammy, who won those tickets?
Carrie, big Carrie.
Foulmouth Carrie?
What?
Foulmouth Carrie?
Foulmouth Carrie.
From back in the day? Yeah, that was his name.
That was his?
Carrie's
a man, bro.
Carrie was our biggest winner at the last big game tailgate, actually. He walked away with a 55-inch TV. So the next big game tailgate is going to be on February 6th this year. So make sure you get out to K&B Bistro. February 6th in the morning, the Friday before the Super Bowl. We're going to have a big old party. Our buddy EC Money on YouTube saying Super Bowl is going to be Patriots versus ? I believe he's asking us, Sammy. I'm going to say this. I'm not so convinced it's going to be the Patriots, if I'm being completely honest. Have the Patriots had just the easiest stretch of games to get to the Super Bowl so far? You think about what they've done. That win over the Texans, is anyone impressed by what the Patriots did in that game? Because I'm not. The defense, sure, you turned over C.J. Stroud 5 times. C.J. Stroud turned over C.J. Stroud all those times. I was not impressed with the Patriots.
It was a 10-point game with 4 turnovers in the first half.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I was not impressed with the Patriots whatsoever. Denver's defense, I think, could actually get the job done if Jarrett Stidham's a quarterback. I do think the Super Bowl is NFC winning no matter what. I have no good feeling about Rams Seahawks. I don't know where I would go with that game as of right now.
We will reserve picks for Friday's show.
My gut instinct is lean Seattle because of how dominant they've been the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's a tough game.
But my experience instinct would lean towards the Rams.
The Rams are just they have the best blend of anything of talent, been there, great coach. They have all the recipe of something that would win. But if you're against the Rams, they haven't necessarily looked great the last 2 weeks, but they're finding ways to win different games. They win a shootout against Carolina. They win a defensive matchup against the Bears.
And it feels like no matter what game style you want to play against the Rams, they have something to counter it. If it needs to turn into a running game, Kyron Williams has been great. If Matthew Stafford needs to throw the ball all over the place, well, they got Devontae Adams, who's a future Hall of Famer, and they got Puka Nacua, who is setting records every time he steps on the football field.
I do think, to your point, Denver, like everyone's just counting this game out.
No, I got Denver winning it as of right now.
Really?
As of this exact moment, yeah, I'll change my mind 5 times by Friday.
Like Jarrett Stidham was a guy, he played a lot. He was a good starter at Auburn. That was the last time Auburn was actually like decent. But at home, Denver's not winning a Super Bowl because if they win, they're not going to beat Seattle or the Rams on a neutral site field. It could be freezing. This thing could be snow all over the ground in Denver. Drake May and that offense hasn't looked great. We've seen fumbling issues from Drake May. So, and all the pressure's on New England, and this entity has never been there before. Obviously, the franchise has been there before. So I do think people just writing them off like Denver's done is wrong.
What's the spread at right now?
It's at 5.5. It opened at 4.5 for New England. Everyone's betting New England before it gets to 7.
5.5-point home dogs with potentially the best defense the NFL has seen this year.
Yeah. Because people aren't believing in Jarrett Stidham.
Bet the house on Denver. Financial advice from yours only, Ben Fletcher. All right, Sammy.
Usually when betting the house on Jarrett Stidham doesn't usually go too well.
I don't know, man. I don't think of it as betting on Jarrett Stidham. I bet on everything else around him. Whatever. All right, Sammy, let's get long shots. A quick recount before we get to John Schaefer.
I'm trying to get it up here. All right, so we got Anthony Edwards, more than 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists against Utah. Victor Wembanyama, less than 34.5 against Houston, points, rebounds, and assists. Carlos Alcaraz, less than 29 total games tonight. Get you some late night Australian Open viewing. And the big foe, Francis Tiafoe, more than 20.5 total games won.
We're big fans of Francis Tiafoe on this show. We always have been.
Real quick, do you know what the ratings of San Diego, what we've done for the tennis watching market of the Australian Open? With
just booming
through the roof,
out of this world. All right, John Schaefer's coming up next, so stay tuned for that. We will see you tomorrow. Congratulations to Carrie. We'll have more tickets to give away on tomorrow's show at San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. You've been listening live on the iHeartRadio app.